Hey guys, Metal Driver here, bringing you another WWE review. Today I'll be looking at the ringside exclusive American Badass Undertaker. On the sides of the box you get images of the Undertaker, then on the back you get an image of the Brothers of Destruction, a read-up of this figure, and the phrase keep rollin', rollin', rollin'. Alright, so that was the box, so without further ado, let's go ahead and open this up and take a closer look at the Undertaker. Alright, in here we have the American Badass out of the packaging, but before we take a look at the figure, let's look at the accessories that he comes with. He comes with a pair of gripping hands. These are gripped tighter. He does have some slightly more opened gripped hands on the figure, so I would have preferred maybe an interchangeable fisted hand, so you can use these for a punching pose, so these still do work for that. He comes with a pair of sunglasses for his entrance attire, and speaking of his entrance look, he comes with a beanie that's a bit oversized, comically oversized, I would say. Now that is so that it can fit on the hair, so it is a bit on the big side. Now it does kind of suck that it's plain. I think they should have included the Deadman Inc. logo here, like on the side of the box, but it still works. He comes with a SummerSlam entrance backdrop, which is really cool. I mentioned this in the previous Ringside exclusive reviews that I've done, that I like how Ringside is doing this, or Mattel. Whoever's doing it, I like it. These backdrops with this entrance, I think it's really nice, especially for photography or just posing on a shelf. So it makes me really look forward to the Ringside exclusive Hollywood Hogan. Hopefully we get a Nitro entrance stage backdrop with that. And then the coolest accessory, in my opinion, that's included in this set is the WCW Tag Team Championship belt. According to the back of the box, this is the 2001 version, so it is not the same as the one that was included with Stunning Steve Austin. So as you can see, a comparison between the two belts. So they do have a different design. I like both belts. They look nice. So if you bought an extra one, you can use this with Taker and Kane. Then taking a look at the head sculpt, this is not brand new. We first saw this head sculpt with the ringside exclusive Undertaker as Kane, and we saw it again as an alternate head sculpt with the Ultimate Edition Taker. But this one is painted differently. He has the brownish red hair as opposed to the black hair, and I think this works fine. I think it looks good as an American Badass Taker head sculpt. So honestly, I'm not bothered with a reused head sculpt in this case. The paint on the eyes look really good. The paint on the beard and the eyebrows also are painted well. The paint on the hair looks really good. It's nice how this turned out. Now it does seem maybe it's a little bit big for the body. It's really not that big of a deal, no pun intended. And speaking of the body, now this figure has a gimmick that is new for all the Undertaker figures. He's got this rubber tank top or singlet, which looks weird at first because you do see some of the skin tone showing up. So if you were to bend the torso back, his belly shows, kind of looks like he was one of those fat middle-aged guys with shirts that are too tight. But the purpose of this gimmick is that you can actually pull the straps down and have a bare-chested Undertaker figure. Now what's cool about doing this is that you can actually have Undertaker with his singlet or his tank top, whatever it's called. You can have that down, which at this time during the 2000s, Taker would do this every so often. He didn't do this in the 90s. And then you can see the BSK tattoo on his abdomen. So it says BSK Pride right there. Paint looks really good across the stomach. So that's really cool because it's the first time we are getting a bare-chested elite Undertaker figure. The only Taker that had his tank top off was a basic that came out many years ago. So again, never had an elite version. Now you have one like this. So the gimmick on the tank top is actually really cool. My only concern is that I would be worried about stretching the straps too far, possibly ripping it, or over time the rubber would just break down, deteriorate. And I say that because I've had figures over the years that had kind of rubbery parts that did break down over time. Hopefully that is not the case and it's just a meaningless concern that I have, and I don't mind being proven wrong on that. Now, he is missing his Sarah tattoo that's across his neck. His wife at the time was featured in storylines, especially against DDP, so it's not surprising that they would omit that. Not sure if Taker would approve of Sarah's name being on one of his figures, but still, it would have been nice for it to be there, just for some accuracy. Tattoos on the arms look really good. You see a little bit of that on the shoulder right there. Looks really nice, painted very well. Got some nice color right there on the forearm. And speaking of the arm, he does have double jointed elbows, which is really nice. You don't have too many Takers with double jointed elbows, just the Ultimate Edition and the reissued version of Boneyard Taker. Tattoo on the left arm looks really good. He's got this elbow pad covering up the rest of the arm. There's a double jointed elbow right there. And then we get the same gloved hands that we have received many times before. Then looking at the lower body, same type of legs that we have seen on most of the Undertaker figures, at least the ones that have worn leather pants. However, this one, because he is the American Badass version, he's got Deadman ink painted on the side. Paint came out pretty well for the most part. Crisp, clean line work. There is a little bit of missing red paint here on the end, but other than that, it looks really good. And then looking at the rest of the lower body, standard legs, standard feet that these takers always have. Going over the articulation, the head is on a ball joint. It doesn't go really high up at all due to the plastic of the hair. It looks that far down, but it doesn't hold its place that well. Can't turn side to side and tilt very well. Shoulder goes that high up. Rotates all the way around. There's a bicep swivel. Double jointed elbows. A swivel and hinge at the wrist. He has an ab crunch at the torso. It crunches that far forward. He goes that far back, exposing his belly. Legs go that far out. They go that high up, so excellent range there. Thigh cut. Double jointed knees. There is some rotation here at the ankle. A great ankle pivot. And it does go slightly up and not that far down. So limited range there due to the plastic of the bottom of the pants, but great ankle pivot. Alright, here's the new Ringside exclusive Undertaker next to the Survivor Series 2001 cane and the Ringside exclusive 2001 cane. And if anyone at Mattel is watching, please, we need an updated version of this cane right here. I'm pretty sure there are many collectors out there that have missed out on the Ringside exclusive version. A nice updated one with bigger arms, interchangeable hands would be much appreciated. Whether it's an Elite or an Ultimate Edition, I don't care. We need a new one. Then here he is next to the SummerSlam American Badass Undertaker, which was pre-Limp Bizkit, pre-Deadman Inc. Then here's my custom version. All I did was swap the head on the Big Evil Taker. As you can see, the Deadman Inc. logo on the side. So I'm glad to finally have an official version instead of using this custom that I have had for years. And then I did buy 2 of these Taker figures, not only so that I could have 2 WCW Tag Team belts, but also so I could use the second Taker, swap the head out, and put a short-haired head scan on it so that I can have a updated double-jointed elbow version of Big Evil Taker. And here you can see them side by side. And as I mentioned before, the Ringside Taker's head is a bit on the big side, and you can definitely see that between these two. And the head scan that I used for the Big Evil Taker was from the basic 2-pack, the Showdown 2-pack that came with Jeff Hardy. I think that 2-pack came out about a year, maybe a year and a half ago. So if you did manage to get that, you could swap the head and have yourself your very own Elite Big Evil Taker with double jointed elbows. And here's a close-up of that head scan without the bandana. So yeah, I think it's definitely worth doing that, especially if you plan on buying 2 so you can have 2 WCW Tag Team belts. And then finally, here he is on the Wreckit Motorcycle that was released not too long ago. So if you did manage to pick that up, now you can have a bike for your American Badass Taker. Alright, so what are my final thoughts on the Ringside exclusive American Badass Undertaker? I absolutely love it. I think it's a great figure, it's executed very well. He has double jointed elbows, good paint, a nice choice in head scan, and the gimmick is really cool. The fact that you can actually pull down the tank top and reveal his chest and his abdomen so you can see that BSK Pride tattoo, that's really cool because we've never gotten an Elite Taker without the singlet or without a top on. So it's nice that you can choose whether to have the tank top on or off. Now, I did mention that I am concerned that it might break over time. Hopefully that concern doesn't come true and it's just me looking into something that's not going to happen. So, do I think this is worth picking up? Yes, I do. I think you should add this to your collection unless you hate The Undertaker or you absolutely hate this incarnation of Taker. I don't see why you wouldn't pick this up. I know this version of Taker doesn't get as much love as the Deadman gimmick, but you gotta understand that Taker at this time with this gimmick was very over. And it has a soft spot in my heart because I was a kid during this time period, so I did love the American Badass. And I'm glad to finally have an official version of this incarnation with the black tank top, the Deadman Inc. logo, and now I can finally retire my custom one that I have. So don't sleep on this figure, pick it up, it's worth it. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and like this video and subscribe. If you want a chance to get a shout out in the next video, leave a comment down below, just like Rickson Ramdeen mentioned that they are an international collector and that store exclusive should be available online as well. So yeah, I wasn't aware if the Target store did ship overseas online. If they do and you are able to get Batista in that way, I say do so. I'm still not a fan of store exclusives. I prefer that they didn't exist. exist, or at the very least, if there's a figure that's an exclusive to Target or Walmart, that Mattel does some sort of deal where in the UK or Asia or wherever in the world, they pick a store that's that country's exclusive to distribute that figure. Check me out on my social media to keep me up to date with all my wrestling figure photography, and I'll see you next time.